Hey, good morning, Ruben. Quick demo video for you for your SP Sabers high ground. You bought this from me yesterday when I posted up for sale. This is the collector's edition. So this comes with several different neck pieces, although this particular one now is locked in because I've installed it. But you've got two other pieces. We could trade them out in the future if that's something that you wanted to do. Kind of hard to see, all that. There's another box just like this that's going to come with it, and it is the full acrylic stand and everything. So two full boxes for the collector's edition. This is installed the Proffie 2-button setup. So your front switch here is your activation, your back is your auxiliary. You've got CC Sabers in here for your lit PCB. And how you want to get to everything is first you want to unscrew this screw just a little bit, because I did shave it down so it doesn't have to be unscrewed a whole lot. So just a few turns. Now something that's going to throw you on this pommel, it's the first one that I can remember that's like this because I've done a few of these. I thought it wasn't coming off. I brought it out to the garage and put 2 strap wrenches on it before I realized this thing is threaded backwards. So it's going to be lefty tighty, righty loosey, right? So like you're tightening it up, that's what's going to take the pommel off. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to get used to, but just remember that if it's not coming off on you, please remember the threading is reversed, okay? So you pull that off, you'll see this chassis, you can pull it straight out. This is the chassis that I did for this particular run, printed in the SLS material that Sean had it printed in. This was the last one that I had in stock, so I went ahead and I used it. It has a Smuggler's Outpost 28 millimeter. This is the elite version of the speaker. Your Proffie board right here. You can get to your SD card and your micro USB without moving the board, although I know that you don't typically do stuff like that. So I got your fonts on here. Removable battery setup. This uses the Smuggler's Outpost Switch Pixel PCB set, just in case you wanted to, say if you had a stock V3 in here, you could program and wire your LEDs on the PCB to do something separate. That's why I did that. Now, where that 14-pin PCB is in there and it never comes out. This one in particular, on the CC Sabers version, the LEDs run in line with the blade, so I chose not to go that option, obviously. All right, so we'll throw a battery in. It is a little bit tricky to put this chassis in the Saber. Very loud. I got the speaker completely enclosed, so everything's just pushing right out the back. Very loud. When you go to put this chassis in, there's nothing to really clock it, so you have to do that, right? So your 2 switches on the chassis, they need to line up with your control box. You put that all the way in. Take your time putting it in. When it's all the way down, push it, pull it down so those pins engage, and then come over here and screw the screw lead down. It's hard to do it and show you at the same time, but you want to put that in, screw this all the way down. And then the last part is the pommel. So I do have a little spacer in there that helps the last piece push that chassis forward so that everything engages. All right, the switches engage and everything else. It can be a little tricky to get all that to line up. If you want to, you don't have to screw this down. You can just put the pommel on, so the pommel will also engage everything going forward. Okay, but you shouldn't have too much trouble there. And then after you get all that locked in, you come over here and hit activation. Auxiliary. And I gave you twist off. All right, so we'll throw a blade in here. This does take a 1-inch diameter NeoPixel blade, and again, there's a trick to putting the blade in. So what you want to do first is come over here and unscrew this top emitter piece. This one is threaded normally, so you won't have any trouble there. All right, I'll take this off. Just try not to drop it. The reason we want to take this off first is because the blade retention screws are hidden behind it. But we'll take this piece and put it on our blade. Take the blade, put it in. Come down here and lock these blade retention screws. I'll show you here in a second. There's 2 of them. Normally, when a Saber has 2 retention screws, I would say using 1 is enough. On this one, I would use both. All right, so you've got, one right there, and 180 degrees from it is another one. But once you got those locked in, just slide this down and screw it on. So once you've got all that done, now your saber is fully functional. Super loud. Good flash on flash. Blade lockup is holding down Ox and hitting the saber. Right here. It'll stay like that until you let go of it. You can either tap the power to turn off, or you could give it a twist. To play your soundtrack is a long press. Do a long press to turn it off. Just like that. And then going to your other sound font is just hitting auxiliary.
Obiwan Kenobi.
Whoops.
Obiwan Kenobi.
For being a thin neck saber, this has some decent blade depth, and it does hold a blade very well. Just like that. So we'll go ahead and we'll take the blade out. My blade is the slightest bit wobbly in here because I've sanded it some to fit other sabers. But if you have a brand new 1-inch blade, it'll fit in here perfectly. All right. So we'll unscrew this again, bring that up, and then come over here and loosen the blade retentions just a hair. Take the blade out. I'll put this back on so I don't forget it. This does come with a blade plug as well, which will be in your box, but it looks like this. There's your blade plug. I would put just a little bit of felt on the bottom before you put this in here. That way the metal does not touch the pins, and you don't accidentally turn this on when you have the blade plug in. All right, but we'll go ahead and we'll come over here and take the pommel out, or off rather. Unscrew that greavely a little bit, pull our chassis out, and then from the positive side of the battery over here by your PCB, you should be able to pop it out with your finger just like that. And that's pretty much your high ground. Let me know if you got any questions, and if not, this will go out in the mail to you Monday. Thanks.